Welcome back to the Mayverse, everybody. Mayor Reynolds, aka Midnight Mayor here. Robert Bowling, 402, head of Midnight Society, just held an AMA on Discord in the Midnight Society Discord and answered a ton of community questions and gave us a ton of answers and insight to the community's questions about Snapshot 6, Snapshot 7, the future of Deadrop, and we're going to give you all the answers, all the info as quick as possible to catch you up. So let's not keep you waiting. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to run some gameplay from my most recent Twitch stream, twitch.tv/MayorReynolds, while we go over all these questions and answers. One of the big things that people got excited about from this AMA right off the bat was there was a question about the next in-person event, the next Midnight Society meetup, as usually attached to the launch of a Snapshot. We've been speculating about when this may be because Rob has inferred that Snapshot 7 may have an event attached to it, and we've discussed where may it be, all those types of things. He referenced 92. That's what he said. He answered a question and said 92. A lot of people think this means that the next Snapshot and the next in-person event is 92 days away from today. That would put us towards the end of October. The timing of that would make sense since that it's a little over 3 months from today and a little over 3 months from when Snapshot 6 launched. Obviously, plans can change, but a lot of us think that this means that Snapshot 7 is getting its own in-person event this October. Now I'm going to rapid fire as many of these as I can. There's a lot of questions about the current ARG and Space Bob, and this is my personal speculation based on what he was saying. It sounds a lot to me like Robert Avanti definitely is Space Bob, that those two entities or characters are the same, and he definitely said that the new ARG that's going on right now is just getting started. There's still time to get involved, so jump in the Midnight Society Discord and get involved in the madness being led by many in the community like I'm Mr. Spaceman, Arctics, and many, many others. There's a lot of questions about UE servers. When will they come? It sounds like there was no confirmation, but it sounds like Snapshot 7 may be that time because Robert said in many, many, many different ways that they want to go as big as possible for Snapshot 7, letting new players into the game. They didn't say the consoles are coming in Snapshot 7. It sounds like that's still further off. But Snapshot 7, it sounds like they're going to really open the gates in one way or another, in a way that's different from tower keys. They definitely said it's not going to be tower keys. There's going to be other mechanisms to get other players and new players involved in Deadrop and populate the lobbies. And the reason for this is that there's actually going to be separate matchmaking queues for at least one of the features in Snapshot 7, if not more. That's why Midnight Society's considering, they want to open these doors and get more players involved, because right now you're either on Sector 3 or you're on Proving Ground 2. We think that vehicles are going to be one of the experiences in Snapshot 7, and it's sounding like UGC may even be part of Snapshot 7. We're not sure, but that would mean there's going to be a lot of different players doing a lot of different things, and they want to make sure there's enough players playing and testing all of these features. So anyway, long story short, I just answered like summed up three or four different questions here. Likely more players coming to Deadrop around the time of Snapshot 7. They want to go big or go home with it. UE servers probably coming around the same time. Consoles, there's no real updates on that, guys. I know Rob said that's boring. They're still having the discussions, but he basically said right now the game's just not finished enough to launch on console because consoles still just aren't as far as PC as far as testing and so on goes. You have to be much more complete on console than you do on PC. There's also a lot of questions about questing and challenges and missions and stories being told in-game, and Rob went on to talk about how right now there's only one sector of the tower, and a lot of that stuff, in order to take place, it's really going to require the tower to be more built out, because if everybody's doing the same 3 missions, testing the same 3 missions in the game or whatever, then it's going to be chaos. There's going to be 30 people in the exact same spot fighting over the exact same piece of loot or whatever. So all that stuff is likely going to come later down the road. It is on the roadmap, obviously. It's just not here yet, and that's the reason why. Rob mentioned that there's a lot of ideas for the Sin system to evolve. Right now, it's just for the basic respawns, but he's been saying keep an eye on that because they're toying around with a lot of different ideas, and the Sin system may evolve, as will the cleaners. Rob specifically mentioned that different types of cleaners will be coming down the road. Perhaps different types of cleaners will be present in different sections. He even mentioned, and several of us have asked this over time, will there be like boss mobs in the game, something like that that will require players to team up to take down. And he confirms they're having those discussions. No confirmation, but nice little confirmation there that might be a thing eventually. Another big thing that was addressed, he doesn't think that Deadrop is a skill-based matchmaking game, and that makes sense to me. It's a much different style game. It's an extraction shooter. It's about loot, right? And he said that's one of the things that they're thinking about is if you're going in with a lot of loot, you don't want to be matched with 20 players who came in with nothing, because then you go in there and you're not going to get anything from all those players because they just didn't bring in anything for you. You risked all your loot, and you didn't really see a benefit to that. Maybe you got a 20 bomb and that was worth it for you, but there was no payout loot or economy wise for you. So no skill-based matchmaking, though he did say UGC modes may be able to implement skill-based matchmaking if the developers of a given UGC mode want it to. He was asked a question about optimization. This was a great question, and he explained very in-depth how optimization in game development works, and he said that they are doing optimization of the game is ongoing. They have a team that works on this all the time. And this was one of the things that, you know, a lot of players have been talking about, the FPS of Snapshot 6. They are unhappy with it, so on and so forth. And basically, he said there's another type of optimization that goes on later down the road. They're doing both types ongoing. They're making changes to the engine and so on. But what he called it serious optimization. And you know, there's a lot of optimization that kind of has to wait until later in the development process. But optimization is ongoing. They are working on it snapshot by snapshot. But then there's a lot more that really they're building a lot of the bones of the game right now. And they have to do that stuff first before they can optimize it. And he did say that he kind of viewed 2024 as the year of refinement for Deadrop. But he said that he actually thinks that that's going to move up a little bit towards the tail end of this year, if that makes sense. So more optimization, obviously ongoing, and more to come. He also said there is no Snapshot 6.1 patch that's likely coming like there was with Snapshot 5. He said, you know, he wasn't aware of it, at least. If there's stuff that they need to fix, huge exploits, it will happen, but right now it's not something that is on the table. Rob was asked about the return of the Hideout and if that's connected to Snapshot 7, and he said that the Hideout is receiving a full-fledged, you know, revision. They're redesigning the entire thing. That's where the firing range is. And in his mind, the garage may come back in Snapshot 7 because there's some things attached to that in Snapshot 7 that might make sense for the garage to return. Vehicles, obviously. He danced around vehicles for this whole AMA, by the way. Definitely coming Snapshot 7. But that the whole Hideout is likely not coming back in Snapshot 7. That may change. Obviously, all of this is, you know, work in progress, but don't expect the full Hideout to return in Snapshot 7. Rob was asked a question about the weapon mod system, and he made a comment. This is not a confirmation this is happening, but this is just what I thought based on his comment. He made a comment about the weapon mod chip being able to alter the stats of a weapon. And when I heard that, I kind of wonder if they will use the weapon mod as a way to, like, you know, tune weapons, like in Call of Duty, for example. Like, when I heard weapon mod, when I hear expansion of weapon mod, I was thinking stuff like, you know, is there a weapon mod that adds, you know, incendiary rounds to your gun? Is there a weapon mod that adds cryo rounds to your gun? Some, you know, those are just two random ideas. But it sounds like they're thinking more along the lines of, okay, I can tune, if I put a weapon mod on a gun, I can actually customize it, maybe? Like, customize that weapon mod chip in the future, like tune it to do more for my recoil than my damage, or something along those lines. Interesting answer. He also said skins. He was asked again about skins and character customization. And he reiterated, he answered this way during my interview with him as well, that they're going more along the lines of something like Halo, where you can equip different pieces and customize different pieces of your outfit or your skin, than something like Fortnite, which is just one size fits all, either you're Batman or you're Spider-Man, and you can't customize or change any bits or pieces. He also made shots fired. We are not a blockchain game. This was his quote. He was asked a question about blockchain in Deadrop. Shots fired, guys. He said the vast majority of the game has nothing to do with blockchain. And I thought this was a very interesting comment. Again, I think this is the right approach. I am very open to blockchain features, especially within Deadrop, because they're building an amazing game, which is going to have blockchain features. It's just, I think it's the right call. They're putting the game first. This is a game with blockchain features. This is not a blockchain game. The question was specifically aimed at, you know, will you be able to mint every single item or just important items? And his basic answer was you won't have to mint every single thing if you're playing the game on the chain, so to speak, like bullets and bandages. It's going to be just specific items that make sense to the game. I love the answer. I love that he was so straightforward about it as well. Rob just loves talking about UGC, and he mentioned several things about UGC. He threw out some ideas for specific UGC creations, like a social hub. For example, that's a pretty cool idea that I think people will definitely make for people to hang out in. But he also said that there will be a UGC certification process if you want your content to be usable by public members of the Deadrop community. This was in relation to basically a copyright question, like will I be able to put Kratos from God of War in my Deadrop UGC creation? And the basic answer was, if you're doing it locally on your own computer, yes, you'll be able to do whatever you want, right? But if you want to put it out there to be played by the community at large, there's going to be a certification process, to make sure that what you've made works and it's not broken, that it's legit, and to make sure it doesn't violate any copyright infringements, DCMA issues, so on and so forth. This makes total sense. This is the safe call, and I'm glad to hear that they've thought these things out already. That's all the highlights, guys. You know, a potential reveal of the Snapshot 7, a date and event, stuff about skill-based matchmaking, a lot of stuff about UGC, ton of good info in there. Rob's always very insightful, always very passionate, and I love to hear these AMAs from the team. I love how open they're being, just taking our questions and answering them. Let us know if you have questions down below, if you want clarification on anything or my particular thoughts on a particular aspect. If you had a question that you didn't get to ask or would love the chance to ask, let me know down in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video. Make sure you're subscribed for all the Deadrop and Midnight Society updates right here on the Midnight Mare channel, as well as our live action Deadrop series. Or if you want to chat about Deadrop anytime, jump into my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MayorReynolds. You can also find me on Kick, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Threads. I'm everywhere. Midnight Mare out.